As the director of the Institute of Museum and Library Services, it's my profound pleasure and high honor to present the National Medals for Outstanding Service of Libraries and Museums. This signature IMLS program is one of the nation's highest honors that a library or a museum can receive. The 6 medalists honored today join 170 previous medalists from the last 25 years, representing the best of community service, cultural engagement, and outreach to the multitude of audiences that these institutions serve every day. These 6 medalists performed at the highest level during the most difficult times in recent memory. With communities locking down and hundreds of thousands of Americans losing their lives, they continue to be central and indispensable in responding to the pandemic. Frontline librarians and museum staff found new and imaginative ways to offer service in the face of unprecedented challenge. As mask mandates lifted and we curtailed social distancing for the increasingly vaccinated public this summer, where did everyone go? To the beach and to baseball games, to be sure. But there were stunning crowds in museums and steady streams of patrons at libraries. Where we headed, where we hadn't been during the lockdowns, tells the story of the importance of libraries and museums to the culture and community of our country. Cabell County Public Library has been the center of its Huntington, West Virginia community, where the Ohio River forms a junction of Kentucky, Ohio, and West Virginia. In a high-poverty part of the nation, Cabell County has for a long time offered significant social and literary services in partnership with many community organizations and state and local government. During the pandemic closure, the library kept the drive-in window open and held 179 virtual programs. They were able to reopen quickly on June 1st, 2020. And literacy programming, story walks, book festivals continue to make the library a home for readers and the history of Cabell County.
Hi everyone, I'm Grace Gooding, and I'm so proud to introduce you to my hometown library, Cabell County Public Library. It really comes down to one word: connections. That's what drives the staff and the spirit of our Huntington, West Virginia library, which has been serving our tri-state community for more than a century. Beyond the books, computers, and diverse library programming, they spark our imagination and nurture our knowledge. You'll find staff in Cabell County helping others access public services, short-term financial assistance, and so many other services that make our lives just a little bit better and our futures a little brighter. The connections we seek and make with the library are important now more than ever, and we couldn't be more grateful because we're all in this together. I raised my kids with lots and lots and lots of time at Cabell County Public Library. Story hours on Monday nights were an important part of our life for so long. My kids listen to stories at home, but it's always better to listen to stories with your friends.
The Cabell County Public Library has been a haven for me for over 50 years. If things get tough, I can always come into the library and reinvigorate myself.
Cabell County Library is spectacular for helping children. Both of my kids went to therapy dogs at the library through a program that they had here, and it was good for them to be able to read out loud without judgment.
The library affects the community in a lot of different ways. There are people that use the computers, whether it's job applications or whether it's their email. The reading programs that the library sponsors are wonderful.
Even before COVID, it was a feeding site every summer. Kids could come eat at the library.
I have friends here that have been my friends for 50 years. The library has a special place in my heart.
One of the greatest things I've gained from going to Cabell County Library is it provided an extra sort of family for my family. It was really great to have yet another group of people who cared about us and that we could count on.
It is with great pleasure I accept this medal on behalf of the Cabell County Public Library. The library board, staff, and community partners all deserve our thanks for our attaining this award. Our state library and librarian Karen Goff also deserves our thanks. It is an honor not only for the library, but our city, county, and even state for us to be so recognized. The city of Huntington is celebrating its 150th anniversary, so the timing is perfect. We are recognized for providing excellent service to all segments of the tri-state community. Through our information and referral service, new services for the homeless, battered women, and adult literacy were all established. We received a note of congratulations from a lady in Wheeling, West Virginia, who expressed Cabell County receiving the award reflected well on libraries throughout the state who give exemplary service as well. In addition to traditional library service, libraries in West Virginia provide free notary service, help people get email addresses, and fill out job applications online. We are fortunate our funding is mandated by a local law passed by the state legislature, but other libraries in West Virginia are not so fortunate. Our challenge, besides stable funding, is to find new ways to provide for the ever-changing informational, educational, and recreational needs of our users.
The Museo de Ponce d'Arte has used its extensive and widely admired collection of more than 4,500 works of art from many cultures to focus on projects serving the marginalized and most vulnerable members of the Puerto Rican community. As the pandemic developed, the Museo used their Connect Arte program to reach out with art, music, story times, and even yoga to 750,000 patrons. The El Museo Sale de Cali program was healing art outreach in public housing, among other spaces, in response to the extraordinary series of hurricanes and earthquakes Puerto Rico has experienced. The use of museum space, programs, concerts, and outreach as part of Puerto Rico's first response is a powerful message for the museum world on the meaning of relevance and the impact of lifelong learning.
Hola mi gente, mi nombre es Oscar Báez y quiero hablarles sobre la auténtica obra de arte que es el Museo de Arte de Ponce en Puerto Rico. Tal vez ustedes consideren que un museo solo guarda objetos de interés histórico, artístico, científico o cultural. Es cierto, pero el concepto no basta para expresar lo que nuestra pequeña comunidad de Maricao siente por nuestro querido museo, que es un ejemplo de belleza y un rayo de esperanza, algo que representa mucho más allá de lo que se encuentra dentro de sus paredes. Aunque en los últimos años nuestra isla ha sido azotada por muchas tormentas, el museo ha garantizado que a todos los miembros de nuestra comunidad sigan conectados con nuestra cultura, particularmente aquellos que son más vulnerables. A continuación, un vistazo al hermoso impacto que el museo ha hecho en nuestra comunidad. Si no estuviera el proyecto Puerto Rico Mío con el Museo de Arte de Puerto Rico de nuestra escuela, habría un gran vacío y quizás nuestra escuela no estuviera activa actualmente.
El propósito del Centro de Ambulante Cristo Pobre es proveer servicios básicos indispensables a las personas sin hogar. Los talleres, la actividad que realizó el Museo de Ponce evitó que muchos de ellos no estuvieran en las calles, sino que estuvieran inmersos en el desarrollo de la pintura.
Nuestros niños visitan el museo y luego crean obras de arte, las que ellos ven en el museo las adaptan a la comunidad de Maricao y lo que ellos conocen. Un 83% de nuestros estudiantes viven bajo el nivel de pobreza y el museo nos ofrece materiales educativos, libros.
Esa población desventajada y vulnerable debe de llegar la cultura, debe llegar este mensaje de que
somos parte del museo y el museo es parte de nuestra comunidad.
It is with great honor and privilege that I accept on behalf of Museo de Arte de Ponce the National Medal of 2021 granted by the Institute of Museum and Library Services. Fulfilling our mission to contribute to the well-being of our community has been a grueling task during this past few years, where several natural disasters and the pandemic have turned our lives upside down, to put it mildly. Since the island's wide devastation brought to us by Hurricane Maria in 2017 to the earthquakes of January 2020, which forced us to close our galleries, we have found ways to reimagine ourselves in order to continue servicing our community, putting the most vulnerable first as they need us the most. In the years to come, we will face important challenges as we all recover from the pandemic, and in our particular case, throughout the process of reconstruction of our main building. Nevertheless, in times of certitude as well as perils, the Museo de Arte de Ponce has proven to embrace its community, serving as a tool of transformation and hope. This recognition represents the merit of people that we serve, a source of pride for the people of Puerto Rico, and the most important distinction received by the institution for doing something we love and cherish. I am the proud leader of a team that comes together in times of great need, a team dedicated not only to this institution, but to its island and its people. So I could not accept this medal without the pertinent gratitude to the museum staff and the support of our Board of Trustees. Thank you to the Institute of Museum and Library Services for recognizing our work and dedication with this award.
The Memphis Public Library has the great distinction of being the first institution to win the National Medal for a second time. Its 18 branches serve over 2 million people in one of the most challenged cities in the United States. Countless programs serving all parts of the Memphis community, including concerts, community dinners, hotspot checkouts, mobile technology van, and STEAM summer camps and teen innovation centers. Before and during the pandemic, their focus on the underserved and bridging the digital divide with programs like Link to 11 services, meal delivery, and curbside pickup made the Memphis Public Library, especially its frontline staff, admired essential workers. The library has also shown imaginative outreach with the use of its own radio and TV stations.
Hello, I'm Brittany Thornton, and I'm here to represent two-time National Medal winner Memphis Public Libraries. The mantra I like to use is that MPL makes it happen. You may know that Memphis is a haven for art and music lovers, but not all who live here can afford concert or theater tickets. MPL fills the gap by creating high-quality cultural programs and making it accessible for everyone. They design meaningful summer experiences for families of all socioeconomic backgrounds. They fund school robotic teams when resources are stretched thin, and their staff moves mountains for our community in small ways that changes lives. They look out for us all and make us feel that no experience is out of reach.
The Memphis Public Library has affected our community in a very positive way. We have a lot of programs and activities for our entire community. We have the book stop where we offer local authors to come in and showcase their book. And we have Boo Books. We open up to the community an opportunity for people to come in with their children. It's a safe environment, and every child will leave with 1 to 3 books. And we would have really fantastic artists come, put on a phenomenal concert.
Around the time when we were starting our most recent and current project to build a shelter, and they just reached out to offer services that they could that was well beyond what I was accustomed to being traditional services of a library. We now have 24 bunk beds installed inside the facility, and we needed additional space for people to be able to change clothes, wash up. And the team at the Memphis Public Libraries have come in and created dressing closets that we use every single day.
There are so many other services and opportunities that a library offers that many people would never be able to take advantage of, especially for economic reasons. So I think the library is an enormous pillar of our society and greatly needed.
Hi, I'm Keenan McCloy. I'm the director of the Memphis Public Libraries. This award from the IMLS is so exciting and humbling, and it's hard to put into words what it means to us. We want to thank the IMLS, particularly Director Crosby Kemper, Mayor Strickland, the City Council, the Board of Trustees, Memphis Library Foundation, and the Friends. Memphis is a grit and grind city, and our successes come down to the hard work and creativity of our very dedicated staff. I've never been more proud of our team than during the COVID-19 pandemic. While many organizations were closed or unsure how to proceed, our staff was finding innovative strategies to meet the ever-evolving community needs. Virtual programs have included everything from gardening and healthy cooking at home to ESL classes and art courses. Our staff has stepped up to deliver meals, provide resource referrals, create engaging take-home activities, shift summer learning, and camps online. Much, much more has happened here. We will continue to expand our continuum of resources to include more offerings for more opportunity for at-risk youth, those experiencing poverty, individuals with low literacy, job seekers, and lifelong learners, while increasing access to the arts, programs for new English speakers, and those who are seeking citizenship. We are truly inspired by the other honorees and cannot wait to keep working towards a stronger and more equitable community.
The High Desert Museum in Bend, Oregon says its mission is to wildly excite and responsibly teach the 195,000 visitors to its Central Oregon campus, nestled in the foothills of the Cascade Mountains. In the last year, its focus on interdisciplinary education with its natural landscape, 170 animals, and 28,000 objects had to go virtual, expanding online capability through its partnerships with the Deschutes Public Library and the Bend Lapine School District. Its educational and social focus makes the most of its great natural resources. They are also a participant in the Museums for All, an access program of low-income families facilitated through a partnership with the IMLS and the Association of Children's Museums. The development of tribal history and an indigenous curriculum in partnership with tribal organizations and schools is a model of excellence.
A place of heritage and history. That's what you'll find at the High Desert Museum in Bend, Oregon. I'm Miana Correa, and I've seen the past come alive here. Whether it's through the wonder in a child's eyes during a close encounter with resident wildlife, or through partnerships with local museums where visitors explore firsthand sights, sounds, and artifacts of ancient songs, languages, and cultures, they leave changed. They leave with new perspectives of our past, our community, and our future. And they are now invested in this treasure of the Pacific Northwest that is unlike any other. Let's take a look. With High Desert Museum, there's an allyship that creates momentum to forwarding our diversity efforts.
We were looking at their representation of our tribes in their galleries. A few of the staff in Warm Springs went over and helped them redo the dressing and the hair. I think that was really amazing that the High Desert Museum was open to that.
We just were funded on a grant that we collaborated on with the High Desert Museum to provide opportunities and technology. 20 families that are connected to Latino Community Association received iPads and a 1-year membership to High Desert Museum.
The High Desert Museum did have a water exhibit, and they brought in Native American artists who were very concerned and connected to the use of water. That was phenomenal.
I feel that the High Desert Museum creates that dialogue with families, advocating for how to make sure that people have a strong cultural tie to their personal identity or their collective identity.
I'm fortunate now to see our museums in the Northwest stepping up and doing amazing things with their Native American Indian collections, as well as other diversity challenges that are out there.
Thank you. We are so honored to be the recipient of the National Medal and in the very good company of the other medal winners from across the country. To start with gratitude, thank you to the Institute of Museum and Library Services, and an absolutely enormous thank you to the decades of High Desert Museum board members, volunteers, and talented and committed staff who have contributed to this institution. Nearly 4 decades ago, the High Desert Museum's founder, Don Kerr, envisioned a place that evoked wonder, discovery, curiosity, and learning about the Intermountain West. He imagined a museum not bounded by walls, but by rivers and mountains and forests and sagebrush. Today, the High Desert Museum tells the story of this region and its diverse voices through art, culture, history, and science, all on 135 acres in the forest. We also lean into our mission to be a powerful catalyst for dialogue and community. That's one of the many reasons we're so grateful for this incredible honor. It's a recognition of our role as a community anchor, particularly during this past challenging year. From creating a day-long program for elementary students in a rural community during online learning, to providing tablets and data plans to families to ensure connection continued during COVID. We've put reaching out to support the community at the very core of our efforts, and now we stand ready to help our community heal. The National Medal belongs to the High Desert community who has shaped this museum, and thank you to all who have been vital in making the High Desert Museum what it is today, and ultimately to contributing to what is a vibrant and resilient community.
The Highwood Public Library focuses on serving underserved and under-resourced populations within the North Shore community outside of Chicago. Their Bridging Resources for Educational Access and Knowledge, BREAK program engages the community, provides access to literature, information, and opportunities. ESL, GED, and citizenship programs, along with summer reading, STEM, homework help, and 4-H robotics, offered to this community was a model of opportunity before the pandemic. During the pandemic, the library had to close for 3 months, but they continued their help to families with a pop-up food bank in their garage, the distribution of protective equipment, and partnering with school district staff.
Hi there, I'm Pablo Alvarez, and I have the pleasure of telling you a little bit about one of my favorite places, the Highwood Public Library. When I think of Highwood, I think about our diversity and our resilience, the library's determination to meet every challenge we have, whether it's the digital divide, generational cycles of poverty, or language and literacy skills for our immigrant neighbors, has made it an important part of our community. We were hit hard by the pandemic, but the library staff never wavered. They listened, responded, and found incredible ways to keep our community strong and thriving. Let's take a look at just some of the ways they have made us feel lucky and proud to call Highwood, Illinois, home. Once the pandemic hit, having the library open really was a beacon of hope. The Highwood Library is beautifully centered in Highwood. This allowed for an ideal location to meet with students.
When I met Carmen, she was like, I'm gonna bring some programs to the public library. And when she said GD, I get so excited. We're like, wow, GD? And she said, yes, and it's gonna be in Spanish. And we're like, perfect, that's what I want to do all my life.
The programming that they have done for students has been incredible. Everything from ACT prep and tutoring to robotics.
The library helps my son with the reading, and also he approves the robotic programs and coding programs. And after a couple months, he began to be a tutor for the little kids.
I look forward to continuing to develop programming with Carmen and her staff so that our families and students can continue to take advantage of all of the amazing resources available in this community.
This library is amazing because I know right now everything that this community needs, the library is going to help us.
The IMLS National Medal is a great honor that gives our community a sense of pride and validation that they are worthy of national recognition. This creates an environment where the library becomes a community center for everyone to feel represented, empowered, and embraced. Our dynamic programs and services break down barriers and overcome generational cycles of poverty to help individuals reach their goals that otherwise felt unattainable. It is through our innovative community engagement strategy, BREAK, Bridging Resources for Educational Access and Knowledge, that we have been able to create bridges to resources that respond to the needs and interest of the most vulnerable in our community. A beautiful example of the success of BREAK is expressed through the story of Betty. Betty was excited for the opportunity to continue her studies. We can proudly say that Betty is one of the library's first GED graduates. She has now new goals and continues her education and is enrolled at the local community college. As momentum grows from the continued success of our programs, the library recognizes the growing challenge to strengthen a solid foundation that equips us to pursue exciting new opportunities, to grow community partnerships, and further strengthen and expand our program development. We want to acknowledge the hard work of our staff, volunteers, and patrons who have made this all possible, the Board of Trustees that believes in the work that we are doing, and IMLS for this amazing award. To be recognized by an institution that works with libraries and museums at the highest level is an honor and carries a great responsibility to continue serving our community with passion, relevancy, and dedication.
The Mississippi Children's Museum in its short history has represented innovation and excellence. They partnered with the Jackson Public School District and the Barksdale Reading Institute on Read to Succeed, an outreach program to underserved and underperforming elementary students. Their literacy garden, outdoor space, and learning laboratory, Wonderbox Makerspace, Mississippi Science Fest, and the Wonder of Wellness, a community health program and traveling exhibit, are just part of their massive array of programs to stimulate the imagination and serve all of Mississippi's children. During the pandemic, the distribution of materials and activity kits added a large physical outreach dimension to the social media and virtual story times.
Jim Henson once said, "The most sophisticated people I have ever known have had just one thing in common. They were all in touch with their inner children." Hello, everyone. I'm Lori Grace Torrey, and I'm here to tell you about the perfect place to embrace that inner child, the Mississippi Children's Museum in Jackson. It's where children and adults can learn about the state's rich history, how to feed their minds and their bodies, and to experience a truly magnificent physical space. The museum also plays an important role as a community partner in connecting Jackson's children and their families to essential education, recreational, and cultural opportunities whenever and wherever they need it. Let's take a look at just what makes this museum so special. The Mississippi Children's Museum often afford our boys and girls opportunities that they would not otherwise be exposed to.
My children here, they were just so excited. I mean, who doesn't want to go to school in a children's museum? They could play and run and just be kids when the world around us was so uncertain.
One of those opportunities is Planting the Seeds to Read. This is an awesome program where not only are the students engaged in literacy, the parents are given information on how to improve their scholars' academic achievement.
The Launch into Learning program was a lifeline. I think that many of our children would not have made it through this year, and every day those babies were ready. They were texting, they were calling, and they did not want to miss. It was a big deal.
This program has been an absolute huge success for Jackson Public Schools and Span Elementary. It's more than just a partnership, it's a relationship.
The Mississippi Children's Museum is honored to accept this prestigious recognition for our service to the children and families of Mississippi. Our museum is fun, but we make no apologies for this. It is so much more than that. For 10 years, MCM has provided a safe, imaginative space for over 1 million children, families, educators, and community members of all backgrounds to learn, to play, and to grow. Over the past year, our community and nation has faced extraordinary challenges. However, at MCM, we are part of an impassioned community of organizations and educational institutions. We pull together our unique resources to reach children and families in need of extra assistance and inspiration during this time. When faced with unexpected challenges, we chose to pivot our strategy and expand our outreach beyond our physical museum to all corners of our state. From the Appalachian foothills to the Mississippi Delta to the beautiful Mississippi Gulf Coast, we were able to distribute over 250,000 educational publications statewide, reach over 1 million impressions with our digital resources, share our traveling exhibits with school districts in every region, launch an on-site virtual school, and open our first satellite museum in Meridian, Mississippi, which has already welcomed over 13,000 visitors from across the country in 8 short weeks. As we look toward the future, our museum is more committed than ever to giving Mississippi children access to the quality experiences they deserve through innovative exhibits, engaging programs, and interactive special events, both in beautifully designed and art-filled museums, but also outside of our walls. One of our top priorities is to continue developing community partnerships which enable us to further our outreach goals and create more opportunities for the children of our state to experience all of the magic that the Mississippi Children's Museum has to offer. Thank you, IMLS, for recognizing our entire museum family, and we say a special thank you to the children of Mississippi for being our inspiration. Thank you.
My sincerest congratulations to all the institutions, their hardworking staff and volunteers, and the communities they serve. You represent the best of what museums and libraries offer to the people of the United States.